Many years ago in faraway Israel, in days when it was so uncommon for people to be left-handed, left-handedness was very far from the norms. So, who could have thought that Ehud, the only left-handed judge recorded in the Bible, will be the deliverer of Israel? Here's the story of Ehud. Once again, the people of Israel did what was evil in the eyes of the Lord. They continued to sin against their God who created heaven and earth. They began to create false images and worship strange gods. A neighboring country had a king who was always jealous of the people of Israel. Eglon wanted to conquer Israel so bad that he consulted several countries with similar grudges against God's people. He sought their chiefs, paid tribute to kings, consulted strategists, and curried favors from countries whom, banded together, would be mightier than Israel, who could share strategies and tactics with his soldiers, combine forces with his generals, and assure the victory of the Moabites over Israel. But he was fearful. The Lord, the true ruler of Israel, was with Israel after all, he thought. So Eglon feared that any advance would mean the ultimate decimation of his country, the plundering of his allies, disgrace on his reign as king of Moab, and death of his countrymen. But because the Lord was against the people of Israel, as they had displeased him greatly, the Lord nudged him to go ahead, and he did. The Lord strengthened Eglon, king of Moab, against the people of Israel. He gathered the Ammonites and Amalekites for the ultimate showdown. For seasons they practiced, they worked on their strategies and sent spies who shared important intelligence with them. Together, the three countries crossed the Jordan, battled fiercely with the Israelites, and to the dismay of the people of Israel who had offended the Lord of the heavens, their God, deeply, they were defeated by the combined forces of the Moabites, Ammonites, and Amalekites. They captured the city of palms. Jericho and the people were conquered, and Eglon became their king. Eglon ruled over them without pity and mercy. For 18 years, Israel served Eglon of Moab. 18 years, they lived as slaves. A nation whom God called his own lived, were spared from the slavery of Egypt with signs and wonders performed in that faraway country with Moses leading them. For 18 years they toiled and farmed on their lands under hard labor and poor treatment from the Moabites, their new masters, while they worked hard to till the soil of the earth in their own homeland, to make ridges for their wheats and corn, duly supervised by the king's soldiers. They had nothing to show for their hard labor, since they must pay hefty tributes to Eglon, their present ruler and king. For 18 years, the tax collectors would go to their homes, knock on their doors for their taxes, and deal mercilessly with defaulter or anyone who dared question the king's messengers or comment on the too much tribute. They and their family will be severely punished, so others learn and not repeat the offense of their neighbor. Eglon and his household fed fat. The people of Israel continued suffering for their sins against their Lord for the 18 years Eglon ruled them. As if all of these weren't enough, they had to carry heavy tributes to deliver physically to the king regularly. The people of Israel finally got tired of the suffering, and they prayed to God, the creator of the heavens and the earth. They prayed with one voice for a deliverer, the one who would come to liberate them. One fateful day, they had a meeting about who the next person to lead troops that will be carrying the next tributes to King Elgon would be. Nobody wanted to bail the cat because of fear of the wicked king Nobody dared look at the king to his face because he was a very fat man. He looked so huge, as though he could swallow up a whole human being. Everyone was scared, so scared that they unanimously agreed that Ehud, an ordinary left-handed man, as being left-handed is against the norms in those days, should go. Ehud was the son of Gera from the tribe of Benjamin. What the Israelites did not realize is that God's deliverance can come not from the strong or the skilled, but from the low-hanging fruit the world overlooked. Later that day at night, Ehud could not sleep. He prayed to God to give him victory. He sharpened his dagger with a stone. Ehud was already chosen to carry the tribute to Eglon. There was nothing he could do about it. But before he set out, he forged his double-edged dagger, a cubit in length, about 18 inches, and strapped it to his right side beneath his clothing. Because he was left-handed, the guards would never check there. Ehud and his men brought the tribute, baskets of silver and grain, to the great hall of Eglon. When the offering was complete, Ehud dismissed his companions and turned back alone. Ehud said, "I have a secret message for you, O king." Eglon, out of curiosity, waved his attendants away and said, "Leave me alone." At once, they left him alone in his cool upper room. Ehud approached the throne. The king leaned forward, curious. Ehud said softly, "I have a message from God for you." And with his left hand, he drew the dagger from his right thigh and plunged it into Eglon's belly. The blade sank deep, and the fat closed over it so that Ehud did not pull the sword out, and Eglon fell down and died. Ehud stepped quietly into the antechamber, locked the doors behind him, and slipped away down the porch. Moments later, the servants came and found the doors locked. They said, "He must be relieving himself in the cool chamber." They waited and waited until shame forced them to unlock the door. There lay their king, dead on the floor. By then, Ehud had escaped past the idols and ran as fast as his legs could carry until he reached the hill country of Ephraim. There, under the shadow of the mountains, he stopped and raised the ram's horn to his lips. A single piercing blast split the stillness of the land. He blew a trumpet. Sound rolled across the valleys, through villages and vineyards, awakening the hearts of Israel once more. It was the cry of freedom, the call to arms. Ehud lifted his voice and shouted, "Follow me, for the Lord has given Moab, your enemy, into your hands." From every hill and hollow men came running, shepherds, farmers, sons and fathers, their hearts ignited with courage. They followed Ehud down from the mountains, dust rising beneath their feet, faces fierce with hope reborn. They reached the fords of the Jordan, the narrow crossings, where the river ran shallow. There they took their stand. Ehud's command rang out, "Block the passage, let none escape." The Moabite soldiers, leaderless and panicked, rushed toward the river. But the Israelites met them with the fury of the Lord. Swords clashed, spears flew, the cry of battle rose into the sky. 10,000 Moabite warriors fell that day, men of strength and valor, but none strong enough to stand against the hand of God. When the sun set over the Jordan, the waters ran red, and the land was silent again. That day, Israel triumphed over Moab. The yoke of oppression was broken, and the people lifted their eyes toward heaven in thanks. Ehud, the left-handed deliverer, stood among them, the man God chose from the least expected tribe, the hand the world overlooked, but the hand heaven had anointed for victory. And the land had peace, not for a year, not for a generation, but for 80 years. 80 years of rest beneath the sun. 80 years of sons growing into men who had never known chains. Ehud's story is not just of a dagger and a king, but of a God who raises deliverance from the most unlikely places. Israel saw a left-handed man. God saw a ready hand. Because when heaven chooses its heroes, it does not reach for the tallest cedar, but for the low branch of the vine, the one the world forgets, and makes it mighty. Ehud's left hand, once dismissed as weakness, became the hand that struck down a king and lifted a nation. Thank you for watching this Bible story. If you enjoyed our video, please subscribe and turn on the notification icon so you do not miss the next one. It helps support us to make more videos like this. Also, do not forget to like our videos and share your thoughts with others in the comment section.